Steven,
Yeah.
tell me,
Mm-hmm.
why are we so blind to see that the ones we hurt are you and me?
What?
It's a Coolio reference.
Oh, yeah. It's a shame.
You couldn't tell that was a Gangster's Paradise?
Not based off of the way that you were singing it, no.
Well, I was speaking it.
Well, yeah, you were speaking it, but like there's a little more emphasis, like, you know, with you and me.
Well, that's a
But
little
instead
early. I
you're
didn't
like,
want to.
Steven, why are we so blind to see?
Well, it's funnier when you just speak it in, super white voice.
Terrible.
Welcome, everybody, and RIP to Coolio. Great. Well, he was a good rapper. Great hair. And love the Keenan and Kel theme song.
Yeah, the Keenan and Kel
Here we
thing.
go.
Yeah, they showed the Keenan. Then when I saw the video of the Keenan and Kel, that brought me back.
It's a good theme song. Welcome, everybody, to Just Your Pregame Show, man. Week 4 edition. Sorry we didn't do a in the week show. Steven's a little busy now with his KCBS job, doing the noon to 7 shift. How's that going?
Yeah, man, it's going all right so far. Everything is fast paced. Like everything's so quick moving. Like within the world of sports, as you're moving on, it's like, like when you hit like 4 or 5 o'clock, that's when things really start happening, and you got to keep on paying attention. So, yeah, man, it's going well though so far, but just no time to do this thing.
No, we'll figure it out. But we got time today, as we'll dip into what happened a little bit last week and what's going on today. We have the game currently going on right now in merry old London town between the Vikings and Saints. The Vikings have a 13-7 lead as everybody from the Saints is not playing today. Jameis is out, Michael Thomas is out, Alvin Kamara is out, but they're only down by 6. So we'll keep you abreast of everything that goes on in this game. You know, like my terminology there?
Is that the right way to use it?
I hope so. Otherwise, that's creepy what I just said.
Side by side or facing the same way, alongside or even with something. What? So yeah, no, you used it. What?
Really?
Yeah. What?
Isn't the term like we'll keep you abreast of something?
No.
Moving on.
No.
So in this game, I took the Saints, even though there's a lot of injuries, but I still think they're going to win.
Oh wait, never mind. Hang on. I'm looking it up now. According to the the Cambridge English Dictionary, to make sure you know all the most recent facts about a subject or situation. So you're right, I guess.
No, it's not. I guess I am right, and it wasn't just like Steven. I didn't say like, oh, we'll keep you a booby of something. It's a term, abreast.
Yeah, but it's you.
Yeah, like I said, I didn't say I didn't make it childish. I used in the proper term.
You mean you could have just said kept them updated instead of using abreast in it?
You know why I wanted to use that word. Anyway, so I took the Saints. Steven took the Minnesota Vikings, and he took the points and the over. We both have the over, and I have the Saints. So we'll see what happens with the rest of this game. But going back to last week and the picks, Steven was here in my humble abode, and apologize to all the people that listened last week. Our audio was terrible. Next time we do a podcast, if we ever do a podcast in the same room together, we should just use one microphone because that was bad. But Steven had to, as punishment for losing week 2, he had to do the old glizzy straw, a beer and a hot dog, using the hot dog as a straw. And I lost week 3. So Steven huffed and puffed and complained all last week. And now I have to do the same thing. See, I got a little beer, got a little hot dog sticking out.
Yeah, but the thing is, I asked you before, and you said you use the exact same method of putting the hole in the hot dog.
I don't listen. I don't have time to go get straws and try to get a nice symmetrical hole in these said dogs. I got things to do. So I took a knife, cut a hole through the middle, and that should be good enough for you and me.
Okay. I mean, it's just... it doesn't work. It's not how it works.
Regardless, I'm gonna drink this really greasy beer right now.
Okay.
But while I do this, really controversial thing that went down on Thursday, and we'll get into some games that happened last week. But real quick, just the most recent stuff: Dolphins and Bengals played
Mm-hmm.
on Thursday night, and the Dolphins were undefeated at the time, and they lose not only the game, but their starting quarterback Tua Tagovailoa. And the Bengals give them their first loss of the season. The Bengals win 27-15. But of course, the big to do the next day and during the game was whether or not Tua should have played in the first place, given what looked like a concussion the week before against the Buffalo Bills. And then he plays and suffered a very scary injury. It was something no one wants to see, where he got his head smacked on the turf, body slammed, and then he had his fingers all,
Yeah.
very bad. And he had to be stretched out, put on a stretcher and carried out of the stadium. But Tua did. He was released that night and did travel with the team and watched MacGruber with Mike McDaniel. Love that movie. But a lot has been made of what happened, and a lot of stuff has happened since then. So, Stephen, I will give you the floor, and I'll get your reaction, and I will give my reaction after yours while I drink this beer.
Enjoy it. Wait, so you're just drinking it? So you're not drinking out of the straw?
Fine.
Like, that's the whole point of. See, it
Oh.
doesn't work.
It doesn't work. I'm
Yeah.
just going to drink this thing and then eat the hot dog. I'm going to swizzle it around. You like that, huh?
Oh,
Swizzling this-
Derek. Oh, Derek. Just wait till you get to the bottom of that. So, all right. Well,
There's definitely a lot of hot dog chunks in this. Anyway,
we have done 2 glizzy straw punishments, and neither have worked because it's not a straw. In the end, we're just drinking a beer with a hot dog in it.
hey, we work with what we work with what we got.
So the MacGruber thing. I saw a bunch of people commenting on it in response when someone tweeted that out, because I guess McDaniel said that on the flight home we watched MacGruber and he laughed. And I don't know if that was true or not. I think that's really funny if it isn't. And if it is, it's even funnier. But when I saw people responding saying that like Tua must have really hurt himself if he thinks MacGruber's funny, I said, okay, well, I can't take your opinion seriously on anything ever.
Seriously.
How can you even say that about the movie MacGruber? It is an Oscar winner. It is. No, it's not. But it is a fantastic movie. So anyone who says that is totally wrong. But yeah, other than that, like,
I'll say, yeah. If anyone that doesn't like MacGruber, shut your butt.
Of course, it was. It was terrifying, like, to say the least, watching that unfold and everything with all the teammates huddled around him. And luckily he was on his way home from the hospital. I don't know what's the latest on him, but they let him leave that night. But overall, it was just terrible, man. Terrible to see. And they fired whoever it was. I forgot who it was. It was like
the independent neurologist.
Yes, the doctor who evaluated him. They fired him. So clearly something was up there.
Yeah. So going back to last Sunday, when we saw him wobbly against the Buffalo Bills, it looked like a head injury. But when it said it came back, it was a neck and back injury, and then they evaluated him for concussion-like symptoms. I just kind of went with it because, honestly, in this day and age, I don't think any team wants to get busted for not doing a proper diagnosis of a concussion, especially what's going on, obviously, with, the movie Concussion with Will Smith. Tell the truth. And then they, a plethora of lawsuits and everything with the NFL. They're recognizing more head trauma and everything. So it is a short turnaround Thursday night. I was under the assumption that if the doctors cleared him to play, then Tua was all good. And then that happened. And I saw everyone up in arms about what went down. And I fully acknowledge now that given the circumstances of the NFLPA finding that the independent neurologist did not do a proper job, that something was not done properly. However, I'm not a big fan of a whole angry mob mentality of everyone thinking that they know about doctors and whatnot. So I understand that what happened with Tua was terrible, and hopefully when it comes to concussions, we diagnose them properly. At the same time, I feel like everyone just, they just demand things when basically it stems back from the Trey Lance situation. People get angry when athletes get hurt, and that's just what's going to happen sometimes. So while I acknowledge what happened to Tua was very scary and hopefully it doesn't happen in the future, I don't think that there's definitely a correlation between the injury that happened the week before to the next week. It could have been that he was diagnosed improperly, but he did pass protocols every day, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. So while someone had to take the blame for this, and the NFLPA decided to fire the independent neurologist, who I'm sure did a terrible job, I do believe that I don't think Mike McDaniel is to blame for any of this. I don't think that there was some kind of conspiracy theory. Everybody loves conspiracy theories now. Everyone thinks that they'd covered this up. I don't think that was the case. I think that someone fucked up. The independent neurologist fucked up. And when a doctor tells you you're good to go, then what is the coach supposed to say at that point? What I thought was interesting is that we make a big deal out of this, and obviously it's on a primetime stage, and the whole country is watching because that's the only game going on Thursday night. A week ago, I was disgusted by Justin Herbert playing in a meaningless 38-10 game against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and he's playing well into the fourth quarter with broken ribs.
Right.
And you don't need him playing that long. I think Brandon Staley was reckless with that. I understand that Justin Herbert in the postgame said that he wanted to be out there with his teammates, but that I thought was reckless. And furthermore, he was, they're down 38-10, and he's throwing go routes to guys like Jalen Guyton. And sure enough, Jalen Guyton tore his ACL in a meaningless, game with 2 minutes left. So we kind of pick and choose what we get upset about, now. But I do understand what went down with Tua was bad. But, I also just don't like the whole angry mom mentality of it too.
I get it, but clearly something's up though. And this isn't the end of it.
I fully acknowledge that.
It's not the end of it. Like, there's going to be more that comes into this. Like, maybe they, faked that he cleared concussion protocols.
Who faked?
The Dolphins. I don't know. The doctors.
Well,
just
okay,
to get them out there on the field. You think the doctors or the Dolphins are above doing something that's shady? Like, they're the Dolphins.
Yeah, I understand that. And I know it stems back from the Brian Flores thing a year ago, but also everyone just has this like I saw one tweet that I agree with is like everyone just thinks that everybody is out to do the worst things in life now. Like everyone just thinks so negatively of course they're going to cover this up. They're terrible people. And I understand that something was not properly done with Tua. At the same time, I mean, you love Mike McDaniel, Steven. You going to turn on him now and say he's a jackass for this?
No, but something was up.
With him?
No, not with him, but like with sure. I don't know. I really don't know. I don't know
exactly. That's my point. You don't know, and everybody else playing doctor on Twitter doesn't know either.
You got to stay off Twitter, man. Twitter makes you angry. Like, you got to stay off it. You really do, because I have not been on Twitter too much, and it's really it's really refreshing. It really is. So don't go on there. Like, just don't go on social media because it's getting you like all worked up over.
Well, it's the only form of social. I mean, then Facebook.
The thing that's messed up about it is you're not worked up at all about what's going on with Tua or hoping he's okay. You're just sitting there going, "Oh my God, these fans and all these people."
No. Hang on.
You're focusing on the way. You're focusing on the reaction of the issue instead of the issue itself.
Of course, I feel bad for Tua. I feel bad. I mean, but like also. It's, it is football. People are going to get hurt. But I do feel bad. Like he was put in a bad situation. I don't know. But also his mentality as a football player is I'm going to go out and play.
Right.
So it's a tough deal. I really don't blame. I mean, like I see just people say like, oh, Mike McDaniel's a terrible person for this. I disagree with that. I just think that, I don't know. I just saw a lot of opinions the next day. Stephen A. Smith, a bunch of people thinking that they know what's up with the NFL and the doctors and everything, and people just don't know. The bottom line is someone did screw up. But I mean, Andrew Whitworth, I thought, put it perfectly in the post-game show. Like everybody was mad at them too for the way that Thursday Night Football reported stuff. Just everyone chill out, please.
Yeah,
And
everyone was everyone was angry about how they didn't bring up last week or something.
I mean, they did. I don't know if they were forced to, but Twitter thinks that they cornered them, and that's what they eventually succumbed to, talking about the discussion. But Andrew Whitworth kept it real and said, "I remember lying to a neurologist when I played with the Bengals, and said that I was feeling fine, even though I knew I was dinged. It's just gonna happen.
Mm.
Guys are gonna fudge things to go back out and play. That's why, like, I kind of related to the Kevin Durant coming into the finals and then tearing his Achilles, and everybody blamed the Warriors the next day. It's just like sometimes athletes are just going to be athletes and want to play, and you should try to do your best to prevent them from hurting themselves and taking it out of their hands. But at the end of the day, sometimes it's their decision too.
Yeah, yeah. I agree. But yeah, just don't go on social media, man. It sounds like you have a pretty well measured take on this. Just don't go on social media. Don't look. Don't even bother.
I try not to, but as you know, Steven, sometimes it's the requirement of our job.
I like how Jalen Ramsey managed to make it about himself.
Well, that's another thing too. Is a lot of people try to, that's another thing is like people try to make it about themselves.
Jalen Ramsey starts. He's like, we need to worry about player safety. Stop worrying about my socks. And then he keeps on going on about his socks and how he should have get fined for wearing socks. He doesn't care about player safety. Come on.
No. I do feel bad for Tua though, and I hope that he comes back at some point. I think he will. He's not like he's out for the season, but he did suffer a significant injury, and that is unfortunate.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, man. Yeah, I don't really have much of an opinion on it, to be honest with you. Like,
then let's move on then.
Yeah, it's just kind of, it is what it is. It's football. These things happen. Like that's kind of what we have to deal with after all. And it's like anyone who's complaining about it too is just going to go to their fantasy teams and start tweaking their lineup for next week and getting ready for Sunday. Like, so they're it's not like people are going to stop watching football because of this. People like to complain, just complain about something.
Exactly. That's another thing too. It was just like it felt like, I'm so mad that this, Tua got hurt. You're still gonna watch. You're still watching the game. You're still watching on Sunday. I feel bad. Obviously, we all feel bad for what happened. No one should ever, suffer an injury like that. But it's gonna happen. It's gonna happen, and you just hope that going forward, the people that are put in those positions to diagnose concussions are doing the proper things. And that's what the NFLPA did yesterday. And they came up with a new rule that if a player shows some kind of imbalance in movement, that they're taken from the game. And that's a proper measurement to take going forward.
Yep.
All right. Raiders. You and I went to the old athletic club and we watched them lose to the Tennessee Titans 24-22. And what do you think was the biggest takeaway from the game, Steven, a week ago?
Boy. Biggest takeaway was that it just feels like Carr just overcompensates for everything. It's just like, I'm glad they kept it close. Like, shout out to the defense for basically playing like the complete opposite like they did in last week.
Ugh.
Yeah. It's nasty.
I should have went to Safeway and got better hot dogs. Anyway, go ahead. The
Like,
beer's fine. The beer's fine. It's the hot dog. Ugh.
I'm glad the defense showed up in the second half. Like, they looked terrible in the first half, but only giving up 3 points in the second half. Like, I'll take that all day. But it's just with Carr, man, like they managed to, there's all these certain things where they're still terrible in the red zone. They're still able to move the ball downfield, but it also feels like they're moving at a pace where it's like they're playing nervous. And then Carr just not even like bothering to go to Adams toward that second half. Like, I haven't even rewatched that game. I'm just so angry that they even lost. I mean, the first half was terrible. Not even scoring in the first half. Like, I don't know, man. This Raider team starting off 0-3. I said last week, like, there's something to talk about with Carr and McDaniels, and I think there is. Like, McDaniels is not very well liked, is what I'm getting as you look into when people talk to him or talk about him, former players and all that. He knows the X's and O's, but he doesn't have people skills and doesn't understand how to handle a team. I think that's what we're going through right now.
Sounds similar, to one John Gruden with his people skills.
Yeah, you could say that.
Did you watch the same video that I did of Dan Orlovsky breaking down all of the open routes that Devontae Adams ran that Derek Carr did not see?
I did. Yes.
You can have your opinions about Dan Orlovsky, and of course, he felt vindicated for Jimmy Garoppolo stepping out of the end zone last week compared to himself. It's not the same, Dan. John Lund had the best tweet. Jimmy Garoppolo dipped his toe in the back of the end zone. Dan Orlovsky went swimming.
Yeah.
Like he ran around and didn't realize. Anyway,
Yeah.
but Dan Orlovsky points out his breakdown of Derek Carr not finding Devontae Adams is jarring. You got the guy, and he's your college teammate, and that's supposed to be the go-to connection. And I don't know what the deal is where he does not see him or does not feel comfortable throwing to him. It's very similar to Matthew Stafford not looking to Allen Robinson. He's just so comfortable with Cooper Kupp that he just looks to him. I don't know why that's the case with Derek Carr. Matt Collins just got there, and Hunter Renfrow didn't even play last week. So I don't know what the deal is with Derek being so hesitant to throw to Devontae Adams. I do put some of the blame on Darren Waller as well last week. Derek did not put it in great positions, but at the same time, that open pass that he dropped with one hand, you got to make that, Darren. And you also got to make there's 3 weeks in a row that's either been a mistake for Derek or Darren, but Derek has had a wide open Darren Waller in the end zone 3 weeks in a row, has not connected with him. Now, one time he did against the Cardinals, but he's had he's had multiple times this season where he's had Darren Waller in the end zone and they can't get it done.
Right.
I also, a big problem, I think, is the defense. In the first half against the Tennessee Titans, they couldn't stop him at all. And that offense wasn't doing much the first 2 weeks of the season. They made Robert Woods come to life where he wasn't doing much the first 2 weeks. Derrick Henry was getting things going. This, complex illusion of complexity. I mean, I think this defense is just an illusion at this point.
Yeah.
Chandler Jones doesn't have a sack. The only guy on this defense that has a sack is Max Crosby. So, yeah, they are a huge disappointment right now. Being the only 0-3 team in football, and they are not the only winless team. The Houston Texans don't have a win yet, but they're the only 0-3 team, and that's alarming to me because there's so much expectation going into the season. Obviously, with the additions, obviously with the division and how competitive it's going to be, we think starting 0-3 is not the way to go. But I will say this, Stephen, this kind of reminds me of a year ago when the Indianapolis Colts started 0-3, and it wasn't so much that they were just bad. It was that they were a new team with new expectations, and there was just so much expected of them out the gate that they weren't clicking and ready to go right away. I still think this team could be good. I don't know about playoffs right now. I think they could still finish the season with a winning record, even though that's not what a lot of fans want. They could still be a playoff team. It's very hard. The history of 0-3 teams is not very good, but they've been in every game. I think that honestly, the reality is that they may not be as good as we expected them to be, but they're just playing better teams right now. Teams that have it, going a little bit better. Chargers are maybe a better team. The Arizona Cardinals, even though we make fun of Kyler Murray and everything, they were a playoff team a year ago. So were the Tennessee Titans. They may just be playing better teams at this point, and they still got to figure things out.
Is that really true? I mean, are they playing better teams right now?
I don't know if it's true. It's just what I'm suggesting.
Like the Chargers are good. They got the Chargers at their best. I'm not going to dismiss that. Like that's when the Chargers are at the most healthy. I mean, now you got Joey Bosa who's not even playing anymore. So it's like,
yeah, bad injuries all the way around the Chargers.
Yeah. So like, I understand hearing that. But seeing how the Rams kind of crushed the Cardinals and seeing how the Cardinals played outside of that, the Titans, I want to see how they play this week. I'm really curious to see how they play this week against Indianapolis. I think that's going to be a good gauge as to like who the Titans are. But you've had to have beaten these teams. And like the schedule.
Which teams?
Huh?
Among the 3 teams you played at the beginning of the year, the first 3 weeks, who do you think the Raiders were better than 2 of the 3 teams they played?
Yes. Yeah, okay. The Titans do not have that much talent outside of Derrick Henry. Ryan Tannehill looked like Joe Montana. He's had flashes before, but not like that where he's as accurate as he was then. The Cardinals are not as good of a team. just plain and simple. They didn't have DeAndre Hopkins. Like, the Cardinals stink. So, like, you shouldn't be losing to those teams. And I think the thing that's alarming for me, like, they might win today. Okay. But then you got the Chiefs, most likely a loss on that Monday night game. Then you got the Texans, which is good. Then the Saints, then the Jags, then the Colts, then the Broncos, then the Seahawks, and then you got the Chargers again. So actually some very winnable games coming up here. But I also know what Derek Carr's track record is like in the months of November and December. Like, September and October is when he's supposed to be playing at his best. This is when Carr thrives. And then by the time you get to November, that's when things really start to, go. That's when the line chart starts to go down a little bit. That's when you're on the roller coaster.
Flip-flops?
That's when you're on the roller coaster and you start to go down. Like, that's my concern. Maybe he could change that. And to your point about no one else getting a sack outside of Crosby, like, where is Chandler Jones? They gave this dude a 3-year deal, and he's just been a no-show. I guess, like, Pro Football Focus gave him a couple of, stats like hurries or something like that, but he hasn't really done much as far as I see.
PFF has not been the same since it was first started, in my opinion.
They got a lot of good stuff, but I also don't think they grade things the proper way.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I mean, initially I thought they had really good stuff. I think things have changed as time has gone on. But I hear you with Chandler Jones. You got to do more than what we're seeing, man. Like, I understand he had the 5 sacks in one game last season and then just had 5 sacks after that the whole season. But you should be playing off Max Crosby pretty well. And, I've always heard, you don't know about Chandler Jones, getting up there in age. You like to see more from him. And, you question whether or not you should have kept Yannick Ngakoue over him. I don't know what his numbers are right now. I think he has a couple sacks with the Colts right now. But Chandler Jones and this whole defense not playing well. So
it's currently 16-7 in Vikings Saints, by the way. Vikings picked up a field goal.
And the Saints are in the red zone. So if they score here, I'll do my best. Scott Hansen or Andrew Siciliano as he throws to Juwan James. And he's on the 2-yard line. We'll keep you abreast. So have you lost hope, Steven?
Yeah.
Jesus. Really?
Yeah. No, it's just the same team. Like, it really is. Nothing's different.
Well, not really. They were 3-0 at this time last year, so they're worse.
Yeah, they're the same team. Like, as far as I think, not seeing anything different. Still the same old stuff. Like, just giving up big runs, letting them drive down the field. I don't know. Maybe if the defense can put together like 3 quarters worth of good football as opposed to just 2, like, maybe things will change. So I don't know. Today could change all of that. Like, one win can maybe change my opinion on it. I don't know. Like, you know what? No, I'm not all the way out on this team because it's unfair to be all the way out on that team 3 games into the season. But God, when you start off 0-3 the way that they have, it just can't happen. It can't happen.
No, it's an utter disappointment. And obviously Mark Davis feels the same way as he took Josh McDaniels in a closed room and talked to him for extended period amount of time after the game. And Latavius Murray, touchdown.
Wow.
The Saints have cut the deficit to 16-13 pending the extra point.
Murray's actually in the league still? I didn't know that.
Yeah, dude. He's on the practice squad for the Saints for a little while.
Wow.
So yeah, disappointing about the Raiders, but we still got a lot of football to play, and there's more playoff teams, so we'll see what happens. But as far as keeping pace in the AFC West, not good. Not good.
No. They don't look like the team that everyone expected them to be. I don't know. Maybe all of a sudden Carr spreads it around and throws it all over to Waller and Adams and Renfro's out, but maybe, you just have a hot dog with a cut in it. Like, it's not even a hole. What was your plan? Do you know what a straw is?
Steven, I'm drinking a beer with a hot dog at 8:30 in the morning. I think that's punishment enough.
What did you say to me earlier? You were not going to make as much of a fiasco as I did when you were drinking the beer?
Yes.
What are you doing right now?
I'm not making a fiasco. I'm doing it. I'm not making your, oh God. I'm not making your noises.
It's all
Let's move on.
It's all for the effect, Derek. Nobody even knows you're drinking it.
Just not painful. I can get through it. You call this punishment, huh? Speaking of punishment, Niner fans watched the Denver Broncos beat their team last week, and a lot of people's reaction after the game was, "You got to be kidding me! You got to be kidding me!" But I'll tell you, Niner fans, to keep your shirts on and just relax, because there's going to be ebbs and flows with this Niner team. There's going to be, obviously, moments where Jimmy Garoppolo is bad and when he's good. I fully expect him to play well this week against the Rams. But as far as the game last week, yes, stepping out of the back of the end zone and a lot of stuff, not seeing Debo wide open down the field, just not good by Jimmy Garoppolo. But that's what you expect at this point. And I understand everyone's going to compare him to Trey Lance and be like, this is why we wanted to upgrade. I get it. And Jimmy put that on display last Sunday night. But it is what it is at this point. Do you want Brock Purdy playing? No, you don't. So it just is what it is. I fully expect them to play well against the Rams tomorrow. And yes, it's not going to be great with Jimmy going forward. I don't know what the plan is after this season. I mean, you got to deal with Trey Lance coming off of a broken ankle. Most likely Jimmy will not be back, but who knows? Who knows? I just think there's not much. I mean, like, I understand being angry and complaining and everything, but it is what it is. This is Jimmy. This is the team. I understand he spoiled a great defensive effort, but
ugh. Yeah. So you're just so what are you doing? Like, what do you
I just find it funny when Niner fans complain.
Well, of course. Of course they are. Because the first game after this guy comes in after the Seahawks, it's just like riding a bike. Comes in and just looks terrible. Yes, I could understand why they're frustrated. Now, do I think that it's worth getting mad over some guy smiling after the game? No. I don't think that's worth getting
ridiculous.
Frustrated over. Do I think that the close-up video where it says, like, all your plays suck, man? Do I think that that's a thing? No. Do I because number one, okay, there are two things. Number one, him smiling and being all, cordial with the guy that he was drafted with the Patriots. Like, I think he was in the same rookie class as that guy, Fleming. He was all, smiley and happy to see the guy. That's why his teammates like him. Because he's a cool dude, a cool individual, and is not going to let a game distract him from the fact, like, hey, man, like, I haven't seen you in a while. What's up? Like, you know what I mean? So that's why they like Jimmy, because he's just a cool guy who's not going to let something like that, something like the loss of a game, very personable, I guess is where I'm getting at. That's number one. And number two, him saying all your plays suck, man. First off, we don't know whether he said that or not. He most likely did, but he said some form of plays suck, man. I don't know if it was third down plays. I don't know if it was draw plays. I don't know what it was, but I don't think it was a draw on that play either. I haven't dissected it too much, but like, that's also his competitive fire when he's on the field. Like, do you know how many times these guys probably say that and the camera hasn't caught him in the past 5 years that he's played with this team? Like, come on. So I don't know. I don't get any of that. I can understand their frustration with the season, but when you really search for something, like, that's just foolish to me. I don't think there's anything to find there.
That's exactly what I'm saying, Steven. I understand the frustration with Jimmy Garoppolo. I get it. And yes, I don't really care for him 1 week saying, like, oh, it's like riding a bike, just like we did last season, and then making excuses for him. It is a fact he did not play with his team at training camp, and that's what everybody wanted. But he also did take accountability for it this week, saying it does start with me. So everybody hates Jimmy Garoppolo. Majority of Niner fans do. And it's going to be like this sometimes where he has a stinker game and then he plays well against the Rams the next week. That's what I fully expect. So, but I'm with you. I think that it's more conspiracy theories. He hates Kyle, and he's talking shit about him during the game. All right, he very well could be. Do we all remember Steve Kerr during a game saying, "I'm tired of Draymond's shit"? Sometimes people just say things in the heat of battle, and the whole like the lip reading videos and stuff. I get it. Like it's not the best comment when Jimmy Garoppolo says like, "Yeah, I can't read lips," when it's his own lips and it's him saying the words. But whatever he said, I don't care. I don't care. I don't think he has resentment towards Kyle. I think it's exactly what John Lynch said. He is upset that they replaced him as a competitor, but at the same time, I don't think he hates those guys and wants to sabotage the season. I think that he's trying to prove, like, why would the hell would he come back to the Niners if he hated them so much? If he wanted to stick it to him, he could have just said, "No thanks. I'm declining the deal of your $6 million to be the backup to Trey, and I'm going to go back up Geno Smith." He would have taken any of those situations. This is the situation he wanted. I don't think he hates anybody in the Niner organization. I think he just hates the circumstances that he was put in.
Yeah, I agree. Well, of course he does. Like, as he should. I don't know. Like, I get the frustration with his play on the field. It's just the extra stuff. It's the extra, like, oh, we need to watch every single thing that he does on that field. It's the videos of, everyone becoming an all-22 master and then just like pointing out who's open and trying to be Dan Orlovsky when it comes to Jimmy Garoppolo, and then ripping on Dan Orlovsky because Dan Orlovsky ran out of the end zone. It's like, dude, Orlovsky knows what he's talking about. Easy.
He does.
Like, these backup quarterbacks know just as much as anybody. They watch more film than anybody has in the history of football. I'm feeling confident with that. Like, backup
glorified coaches.
That's all they do. So, oh wow, the Vikings pulled off a fake punt. Nice. So, yeah, man, I
you ahead of me?
Maybe.
Well, you giving away shit. All right. Anyway.
How much time do you have?
Oh no, you know what? Maybe it was prior.
This was on Twitter, dude.
Okay. Do you have 41 seconds left in your game?
I'm not even paying attention. I just got it on Twitter.
Oh, Jesus. Okay. Anyway, continue.
Yeah. No, it's just the whole Jimmy G experience. Like, I understand being pissed about the season, but just all this extra stuff, it's what's going to happen throughout the year. We're just going to find everything and somehow make a story out of it when it's nothing.
No, I agree. I think that everyone just, they're upset that Jimmy Garoppolo is playing, so they come up with little side things, the Kyle stuff, the Jimmy hating Kyle. Right. Bottom line is this: Jimmy did not play well. It was very similar to the Niners and Rams NFC Championship game. They had a big lead. The defense was playing great. And then the Broncos answered back and had just one drive, and then Jimmy Garoppolo couldn't do much afterwards. He turned the ball over with, fumbling from center and missing a wide-open Deebo Samuel, throwing a bad interception. He didn't play well. And that's what's going to happen with Jimmy. So I understand you want to upgrade a QB, and you were hoping that Trey Lance would be that guy. And he still...
It's not even them wanting an upgrade at QB, though.
What is it then?
Like, how do I put this? Like, it's not having an instant upgrade at quarterback, but it's at least watching a quarterback that they traded a lot of their future to get. It was to watch him develop this season and go through these lumps that you're talking about with Jimmy G, where it's like, he's going to miss open receivers. He's going to do this. He's going to do that. The same type of lumps. They don't want to go through it with a quarterback that they've seen before. They want to go through that with a new quarterback.
So let me ask you something.
Possibly be an upgrade, who is an upgrade athletically.
Well, yeah, of course, but we don't know if he's an upgrade on the field overall. We don't know that.
You'll never know that, though.
We could know it next year.
Maybe, but I don't think, like, fans don't want to wait till next year. Like, that's the thing.
That's too bad. We can't go in a hot tub time machine and give Trey Lance his ankle back.
I know.
So, sorry. I wish I could go back 20 minutes and not eat that hot dog and beer, but too bad. I'm going to have diarrhea later.
Right.
It just is what it is.
Right. But let fans be fans, dude. Who cares?
No, I forbid it. No, I mean, fans could be fans, but it's also like irrational behavior that then
It's
finds
not
itself.
irrational behavior. It's sports. Sports are sports.
That's fine. That's fine. But then when it becomes topic of conversations that the media tries to use, then it's ridiculous. Like, I love that Matt Mayoko asked Kyle Shanahan that question about the lip reading and then immediately wrote an article saying, I feel dirty that I asked this. It's the truth. It's a dumb question. But Matt Mayoko knows that, but he has to ask it because of the day in society that we live in.
Does he have to ask it, though?
Felt compelled to.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
I don't blame him for asking the question, but I love the fact that he wrote an article afterwards saying, I feel dirty. I had to take a shower after I asked the question.
Yikes.
It's the truth, though. We're asking dumb, we're asking dumb questions now to football coaches and acting like we know more than them.
Yeah, I guess not acting like we know more than them, but just
Please, yes, everyone with a microphone does. Come on.
No, but these are questions that no, there's a couple of people with a microphone that do, but not everyone. But the questions that you're supposed to ask, you're supposed to as a journalist, you're supposed to ask questions for the fan base, basically.
Yes
You're
and no.
supposed to be the vessel. You're supposed to be the one who's getting these answers. So that's just the nature of the beast with the fans, with the journalists. So I don't know. You got to ask something like that. If that goes up, if that happens.
Yeah, no, I hear you. So Ernie has a comment on the stream here. He says, this is why they shouldn't have brought back Jimmy. So, Ernie, I ask you and every Niner fan, would you prefer now to have gone through the season without Jimmy Garoppolo on the team? It just had a terrible season with Brock Purdy or Nate Sudfeld as the backup. What's the point of this? I understand if Trey is healthy and Jimmy's back there, it just sends the wrong message and everything. But as far as wanting to win games this season, how is this a detriment? I understand that
all this chatter that you're getting angry about wouldn't happen.
So you would have rather just had a terrible season and been in mediocrity, and we're talking about Kyle and Jimmy having dissension towards each other.
They're going to be just above mediocrity with Jimmy. I think that's what the point 49er fans are getting.
We don't know that. He lost one game.
Yeah, he looked terrible.
Okay, but if anybody knows anything about football, one game is not an indication of your whole season.
So what if they have a mediocre season this season with Jimmy there? Will you grant fans okay, I see what you're talking about. You have to wait till the season plays out.
You have to wait till the season plays out, but also what's the alternative?
Brock Purdy.
Okay, but Ernie says here, this has been the same story year after year after year. Yeah, but you went to the NFC Championship game a year ago, and I understand you lost, but Jimmy Garoppolo puts you in that position, and the defense puts you in that position. I understand that it's not the greatest quarterback play. I would love to see Twitter back in the day with the 2000 Baltimore Ravens. People would just be gunning for Trent Dilfer all the time. Good Lord.
Oh, yeah, that'd be crazy.
But, I don't know.
Yeah, but they let Dilfer go the year after they won.
And they tried to upgrade. And you know what happened? Elvis Gerback was worse than Trent Dilfer. All I'm saying is that Tolbert made a good point the other day where he was saying that you don't substitute winning to develop somebody. And I agree with that. If you have a good roster, why should you let that go to waste because you want to develop a quarterback? I understand that you want to upgrade and you want Trey Lance to be the face of the franchise and have that team be elevated, but it's rare. We're all banking on the same thing with Patrick Mahomes, where he took a good Chiefs team and made them a Super Bowl team. Not every situation is going to be like that. We're thinking that Trey Lance is going to be amazing, and he very well could be. And it's unfortunate that we don't get a chance to see him play this season. But hopefully he gets that opportunity next season. But it is what it is this season, is all I'm saying, basically. And I understand that fans want to get mad about certain things. You could be a playoff team this year, and the bottom line is everyone will be upset because they lost because of Jimmy Garoppolo making some dumb interception in the playoffs.
Yeah, and it's going to happen today with Bobby Wagner, or on Monday night, rather.
You think so? Why Wagner is going to make a play?
Yeah, every single interception that Wagner's had in his career is against the Niners. I think all but one of them are against the Niners.
That's true?
Yeah.
I want to say I saw one against the Panthers.
Yeah, there's one against the Panthers. But if you look down his game logs, it's like a majority of them are for the Niners. I think like all of them are.
I think, I think he has his only one pick six against the Niners.
Yeah, hang on. I'm going to look it up.
While you look that up, just real quick, just to go through some scores from last week. If I remember correctly, Steven, I told you that the Colts were going to beat the Chiefs, and your reaction is, what are you doing, man?
Yeah.
Say it. Say you were wrong.
I was
Say
wrong.
It. Good.
I was wrong.
That's all I want to hear. A lot of things happened last week. Chiefs losing to the Colts. Dolphins went 3-0 against the Bills, but that looks different now since they lost to the Bengals. Ravens laying a whooping on the Patriots. Eagles beating down their old quarterback, Carson Wentz, with 9 sacks over the Commies. The Jaguars crushing the Chargers. Rams beating down the Cardinals. Packers surviving over the Bucks. What stood out to you most last week, Steven?
Just the Jaguars crushing
Really?
crushing the Chargers. No, that was just because I called the upset. I think
You called that one. You called that one. I'll give you props for that one.
I think I'm going to go with the Jaguars every single week. Just
Really?
every week.
Is that a sign of things to come?
God, what was it? What was the takeaway? I mean, really, the big one was, well, there are a few. Lamar just totally dominating against the Patriots. I did not expect that.
I will give praise to Lamar another week. He's playing a fantastic season. Best I've seen him throwing the ball. Just really good.
The Dolphins coming back and beating the Bills even after that whole thing happened with Tua at halftime. But
let's not forget
that was an impressive win.
Hold on, just real quick. Let's not forget the biggest thing from that game.
What?
The butt punt.
The butt punt.
Trent Sherfield with his buns of steel.
And then the Jags just absolutely dominating over the Chargers. I thought, wow, all right, maybe the Jags maybe they're going to be a real team this year. Maybe they're nothing to scoff at within the AFC South. So a couple of takeaways here and there, but not too many.
Yeah, I was thoroughly impressed with the Eagles. They may have one of the best defensive fronts in football. The biggest takeaway I would say is that we don't know a lot about these teams yet. Did the Vikings score? I think they did.
Yeah.
They're up. Who scored? Was it a field? Oh, it was a field goal.
Yep. 19-14.
19-14. If the Eagles don't win today, this will be probably the quickest we've seen in a long time where every team has a loss. So a lot of parity in this NFL with a lot of moving parts in the offseason, a lot of competitiveness. Don't really know who's the dominant teams. In the AFC was so much, good teams on paper. In the NFC, the Eagles are probably the best team right now. But I'd say a lot of parity in this NFL.
Yeah, I'd say so too. You don't know until after week 4, really. I think after this week, we'll get a pretty good gauge as to which teams are good and which teams aren't. Especially within the AFC, it feels like everybody's 2-1. So, like you just said. So, yeah, I think after this week, we'll get a better gauge on what these teams are actually like and more of their identity.
Russell Gage?
Not Russell Gage.
Okay, caught a touchdown, but 2-point conversion wasn't enough for the Bucks over the Packers. All right, let's pick these games, Steven. In a segment we call Wins or Wangs. Oh, yes. Music. All right. We will keep you abreast of everything going on in the Vikings-Saints game, as I took the Saints and Steven took the Vikings. But as far as the other games going on this week 4 slate, you got the Cleveland Browns going to Hotlanta, and Myles Garrett will not play today due to his car crash that happened earlier this week. But it sounds like he is recovering well. But, Steven, I have the Falcons and Browns at 47.5 for the over-under. What do you have them as far as the spread?
Yeah, I got Atlanta, or at least Cleveland, favored by 1. I don't even know if that was a pick 'em or not, but that's what I saw was a +1 was for the Falcons, and they're at home. They're a home dog. So, what was the over-under again? 47 is what
47.5.
Yeah, 47.5. I think, I think that game's going to go over. I think it's going to be a high-scoring game between those two. I think you have to take the over there. And as far as the game goes, I like Atlanta, but I'm going to take Cleveland on this one, I think.
Well, what is to straight up and to cut? Well, it's 1 point, so yeah.
Yeah, they're
Laying the
going to,
points.
yeah, just take Cleveland.
All right, then. I am going to do the same, actually. Cleveland taking the points and taking the over. Seattle at the Detroit Lions. The Lions are without DeAndre Swift. They're without Amon-Ra St. Brown and DJ Chark. But, did I not say his name right?
No, keep going.
All right. But I still think the Lions have enough firepower. The over-under is at 48. I believe the Lions are favored by 3.5, Steven?
That's not what I had originally. I had it at 5.5, but now it's 3.5. So
Okay.
Yep. It was a big number earlier, but then it went down to 3.5. See, this was a tough one. With all of those players, like DeAndre Swift is such a big part of what they do. And the Hard Knocks fan in me wants to take Detroit just because I feel like I understand the depth that the Lions have without St. Brown and Swift on the field, like just because it feels like we were focused so much on that running back room throughout Hard Knocks. Damn, this is a hard one.
While you contemplate, I'm going to give an update real quick. Taysom Hill just ran a touchdown in. The Saints have taken the lead. Let's see if they go for 2.
Wow.
They are currently up 20-19.
Wow.
With 9:29 left in the fourth quarter.
Well, the over's looking good.
I will take just to give my prediction.
Ahead.
I'm going to take the Lions, but I do think it's going to be closer than 3.5. I think it's going to be a 3-point game. I'll take the Seahawks to cover, and I will take the over.
Ooh, yeah. You know what? I'm going to take the Lions, lay the points with the Lions, and give me the over.
All right, then. Then we got the surprising 2-1s of the Chicago Bears at the New York Giants, playing in their old 80s uniforms today.
Ooh.
The over-unders at 38.5. This hot dog's getting to me. 38.5, and I believe the Giants are favored by 2.5, Steven?
3 is what I got.
3 here. Just straight up 3?
Yeah.
All right, then. Where do you see this one going?
Oh, man.
2-point conversion successful. The Saints up by 3, 22-19.
I'll take the I'll take the Giants at home and give me the over. It's a low number. I just want to take the over on that one. So give me the over. I think the Giants are going to win, and I think they're going to win by more than 3.
I am going to take the Giants. I'm going to lay the points, but I'm going to go under because both offenses are not great.
Right.
Then we got the New York Jets at the Pittsburgh Steelers. Keep the MILFs away from Heinz Field, whatever you call it, because Zach Wilson is back today, baby, and he's playing against Mitch Trubisky, who you said, Steven, is terrible. So, where do you see this one going?
Yeah, I'm going to...
Oh, and the over-under's at 41.5, and I'll let you say the spread.
Yeah, so the Steelers are favored by 3, giving 3 points to the Jets. You go first on this one. I want to see what you pick.
I'm going to take the Steelers. I think this is a very winnable game. I'm going to lay the points, and it's 41.5. I'm going to go under because I think both offenses are going to struggle. And it's just, Zach Wilson's first game against the Pittsburgh Steelers defense. Don't like that. Don't like that.
Yeah. I want to take the under, too. Very inclined to take the under. 40 is just too big of a number. 41.5 is what you said, right?
Correct.
Yeah, so I'll take the under on that one, and... yeah, just lay the points with the Steelers. The Steelers might beat them pretty badly today.
So Mitch Trubisky's going to win a game, huh?
Maybe.
Thought he was terrible. All right. The Chargers.
Do you not think? What do you think he is? What do you think he's mediocre?
I think he's average.
Yeah. Okay.
The Chargers. I don't want to say terrible. Chargers. I'll tell you what's terrible. All the injuries the Chargers have. Rashawn Slater out for the season. Jalen Guyton out for the season. Thanks for that one, Brandon Staley. Or should I say whoever their offensive coordinator is, something Lombardi, Pete Lombardi, I think. And then Joey Bosa's out for a good chunk of the season now. He's on IR. I don't know why I'm getting upset because supposedly I'm a Raider fan, but I like the Chargers. So you got the Chargers going to Houston, who does not have a win, and they got smoked by the Texans a year ago. Did I say Chargers? I meant Texans. Regardless. The music died at the wrong time.
Yep.
All right. 45.5 is the over-under, and I believe the Chargers are getting 6.
Let me take a look.
Texans will get
because-
6. I'd say the Chargers are favored by 6.
Yeah, let me double check and make sure it's going to be on the ticker. But yeah, 6 is what I got too.
All right. I'm going
yeah.
to take I'm just going to take the Chargers. I'm going to lay the points. And I'm
Wow.
going to go over. I think it's an offensive butt kicking today by the old Chargers.
Yeah, give me the same thing. I don't think the Texans are gonna stop. Give me. I'm gonna go with a surprise. Give me the under.
All right.
Give me the under.
All
yeah.
right, then we got the Tennessee Titans at the Indianapolis Colts. Colts getting their first win, and the Titans getting their first win last week as well. The over-under is at 42.5, and I'll let you say the spread, sir.
Yeah, the Colts are favored by 4. Let me lay the points with the Colts. I think they're going to win by more than 4, and I will take the over on this one.
Interesting.
Uh,
I am going to do the same, but you take the over. I will take the under. Moving on. We got the Commies going into Dallas. Cooper Rush, undefeated as Cowboys QB. And Carson Wentz looking a little sloppy these last couple weeks. 41.5 is the over-under. Steven?
Yes, as the Cowboys are favored by 3. Well, give me the under, first of all. I think it's going to be a very defensive game. So give me the under on the 41. And yeah, I'll take the just lay the points with the Cowboys. I'll take the Cowboys to win in Dallas. Give me the under.
I think it's going to be a commie takeover. I'm taking the Washington Commanders to win this game.
Interesting.
Then we got the only undefeated team left in the NFL, the Philadelphia Eagles, going up against their former coach in the surprising Jacksonville Jaguars. Doug Peterson, 2-1 with the Jaguars after laid a whooping on those Chargers. It's 45.5 as the over-under. I believe the Eagles are favored by 6.5.
Yeah, that's what I got.
Steven, what do you say?
I'll take the Jags to cover, Eagles to win. Give me the over.
I like it. I am going to do the same, actually. I think that's, pretty spot on.
Yeah, I think the Eagles might have a big lead toward the end of the game, and then like all of a sudden the Jaguars just get a touchdown to try to close things out, but there's not really much of a chance, you know.
I think it's going to be a close game, actually. I think Doug Peterson knows that Eagles team pretty well, so I think it's going to be a close game, but I still think the Eagles remain undefeated. Game of the day, probably, with the two probably the early MVP candidates. You got the Buffalo Bills coming off a loss against the Dolphins, and you got the Baltimore Ravens coming off a whooping of the Patriots, or whooping to the Patriots, I should say. You got Josh Allen against Lamar Jackson. The over-under is at 51.5, and I believe the Buffalo Bills are favored by 3.
Yeah, give me the lay the points with the Bills.
Okay.
And give me the give me the give me the
Jesus.
Give me the
All
over. Give me the over.
All right, I am going to take the Bills. It's 2.5. Oh, no, it's 3.
Yeah.
That's hard. It's hard not to take the points. I do think it could be a 1-point game, though.
Close one.
I think it's going to be close. I don't know if it's going to be that close. It's hard to say, like, they'll win by 2 and they'll win by 1. It's rare. I'll lay the points with the... So when you lay the points, do they have to win by more than 3?
Yeah.
Or what if it's exactly 3?
That's a push. So that means it's a tie, really.
Damn it.
It's a draw.
All right, I'll lay the points, but I'll take the I'll take the over as well. 2 high-scoring offenses.
You can call for a push if you want.
I ain't calling for no push. That's lame. All right,
Not
then
lame,
we got
it's stupid.
exactly.
Yeah.
But what if it's a 1-point game? I could see it being a 1-point game. Anyway,
Well, it could be. Then you freaking take them to cover then.
no, that's too risky. After all, we're playing with fake money here. Arizona Cardinals going into Carolina as the over-under is 43.5, and I believe the Arizona Cardinals are favored by 1.5.
Yeah. Actually, I got the Panthers favored by 1.
I've seen that shift so much. Let me see what the latest is on old.
Do you want us to turn it into a pick 'em?
No, I want the accurate thing, Steven. We're not gonna go with phony baloney stuff. Okay, yes, you're right. The Panthers are still favored by 1 point. I'm seeing some places have the Cardinals favored by 1.5. All right, let's go with what ESPN says. Panthers are favored by 1.
Yeah, I'll give me the under on this one. I don't think it's going to be a high-scoring game at all, especially with McCaffrey being limited. I don't even know if he's going to 100% play.
Yeah.
And give me so give me the under, and I'll take the. You know what? Screw it. I'll take the Cardinals to win. I think the Cardinals go 2-2 after today.
I'm going to take the Cardinals as well, but I'm going to take the over. I do think it's going to be a high-scoring game.
All right.
With the addition of Rondell Moore coming back.
How about that?
The Patriots with no Mac Jones as they wait day by day, by day, by day for him to come back. By day, by day. And the Green Bay Packers, I believe, are favored by 9, and the over-under is 39.5. Steven?
Damn. Well, right now I got. Wait, hang on, real quick. Here we go. Yeah, 9.5 is what I got too.
9.5. Okay.
Man, I don't think the Packers are that good this year, man. So I think they win because they are in Green Bay after all. But I think the Patriots do cover. I think it's going to be a closer game. That's a big number. So I'm going to take the Patriots to cover and the Packers to win. And I'll take the over in this game.
I'm with you. Not a lot of offensive firepower from the Packers. And when Bill Belichick is down a QB, the defense usually steps up. But I don't see them winning the game. I do think they cover, and I will take the under. And then we got the Denver Broncos at the Las Vegas Raiders. And usually when you have a 2-1 team playing an 0-3 team, chances are that 0-3 team are not going to be favored. Not today. Not today, my friend. The Vegas Raiders are 2.5-point favorites, and the over-under is at 45.5. No Hunter Renfrow, though. No Hunter Renfree.
No Hunter Renfrow. I think that this is going to be a game that the... yeah, I'll take the Raiders to win and lay the points with the Raiders. What was the over-under again?
45.5.
45.5. That's what I got, too. Just give me the over. Like... Wilson's going to throw 3 touchdowns. Carr's going to probably throw all over that Broncos defense, although the Broncos defense is good. And it looks like Pat Surtain is going to be all over Devontae Adams today. That should be an interesting matchup to watch. Yeah, just give me the over, and I'll lay the points with the Raiders.
I am going to do the same, except I will take the under. You're taking the over?
Yeah.
All right, then. 2 more games. Big hurricane this week in South Florida, but everything seems to be okay. So the Kansas City Chiefs and Tampa Bay Buccaneers will continue their game in Tampa tonight. I believe the Bucs are favored by 1.
Yeah.
And it's 45.5. Steven?
Yeah, I think the Chiefs are going to win this one. So give me the Chiefs and Tampa Bay. I don't think Tampa Bay's been good at all this year.
Offensively, yeah.
This is tough. The over-under's tough on this one because it's that type of score. 46.5 is a lot of points. Like, you know what? Give me the under. I'm gonna go with the under, which is probably not the popular decision. But give me the under on this one. I don't think the Buccaneers' offense has been that good this year.
I am going to take the under as well, and I am taking the Chiefs to win. And then we got the Monday night game between the Rams and 49ers. Niners are 1.5-point favorites, and the over-under is at 42.5.
Yeah, give me the Niners. I'll lay the points with the Niners too, and give me the over. If this is in SoFi, then maybe it'd be a different story. But it seems like the Niners always have the Rams number when they're at Levi's Stadium. I don't know what that number is, but it is always. It feels like at Levi's Stadium, whenever McVay goes there, something goes wrong with the Rams. So give me the over, and I'll take the Niners.
Jimmy Garoppolo, undefeated in the regular season against those LA Rams. Obviously, he lost last year to the Rams in the NFC Championship game, but I see them winning today, and then everybody not knowing what to do with themselves. So, or I should say tomorrow. So, yes, I will take the Niners to win. I'm going to take the points, and I'm going to take the over as well. Don't know how much we have different. It seems pretty close with each other. I'd say we have a difference in the Washington game. But yeah, we'll see who comes out on top this week, Steven.
Not a lot of differences, but that's because, man, it feels like there's a lot of games that you could bet this weekend that should be pretty safe to do.
Yeah, but we also have the Minnesota Viking game and Saints game different, and that game is getting spicy right now with 4:20 left in the fourth quarter. The Vikings are first and goal from the 3, and a handoff to Justin Jefferson as he walks into the end zone. The Vikings just take the lead to go up 25-22 with the extra point pending. So watch the rest of that game and watch the rest of the slate today as, we hopefully got you ready for NFL Week 4 today. Steven, I got to say, man, this hot dog thing wasn't too bad.
What about toward the end? Have you gotten toward the end of it?
As soon as I sign off with you, I'm going to have to go to the bathroom. But a beer and hot dog in the morning, not great, but I think it's just more so the Oscar Mayer, just disgusting.
Yeah, and also just, the fact that we didn't actually do the punishment that we were supposed to do. I should have bought the straws. I'm sorry.
How do you? But you have to get the straw. Get a whole thing of meat through the straw. It's a whole process. Anyway, enjoy the games today, everybody. The Vikings just went up 26-22. Enjoy the rest of that game. We may see you during the week, but given Steven's schedule, we'll have to see. Probably not. We'll be back next Sunday, and then Steven's off to merry old London, and then maybe my buddy Alon fills in. Our buddy Alon. But until that time, Steven, say what you always say, my friend.
It's just our opinion, man.